parents can just sniff that shit out when someone's trying so hard to impress, and just there's such a fine line between like being really generous and help and you're caring and stuff like that, but not like going above and beyond to brag or to try too hard. And that's something that I think you've really mastered.
Whatever your stronger language is, like you're obviously the same person, but there are little differences in your personality, the way you talk, like the way you say things.
I feel like in a relationship, like for me, and I think for you too, but for me especially, like acts of service means so much to me, and I think like deepen that connection and love for each other even more. But it's like we can't do that right now in our day-to-day. I don't know, I'm just excited to see kind of how we show up for each other in that aspect. Recording live from my childhood bedroom. Except I'm not 16 and single. I'm 25 and with my mi amor. What the fuck am I saying? Anyways, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Tearing It Up podcast. I am so excited for today because, as you can see, we're in a different location than we're normally in when I record the podcast. We are in my childhood bedroom. I grew up in this room. I grew up in this house. We're back home in Oregon, and guess who's with me? None other than my first special guest on the pod, and he's back only 2 episodes later. Rafa, welcome back to the podcast.
Hi, thank you so much. Happy to be in Oregon. I'm drinking my Dutch Bros in true Oregon fashion.
What did you get at Dutch Bros?
This like watermelon lime Rebel. It's like a monster drink, and it looks radioactive and supposedly has caffeine, which is what I needed. And yes. I can feel my heart rate increasing, but we'll see what happens. If you don't know what Dutch Bros is, it's this like drive-through coffee chain. It started in Oregon a long time ago in Grants Pass, and it's since now franchised across the whole US. They even have it in Texas now, which is crazy. But it's this drive-through coffee place where the coffees are like super sweet, crazy flavors, a million shots. But they also have energy drink called Rebels. That's what Rafa's drinking. It's like this energy drink where they add like syrup and flavors. And is it good for you? No, probably not. But does it taste amazing? Absolutely. So before we recorded, Rafa's like, I need an energy drink or something. And I was like, well, let's go to Dutch Bros. So we did. He's been a few times now. I used to work there in high school. I worked there for about 4 to 5 years off and on throughout high school and college. It was like the best job ever. I had so much fun working there. But what do you think of Dutch Bros? Do you like the coffee? I mean, it's all right.
You can shit on it. You don't need to be nice here.
I know. I think they're doing too much. The perfect target audience and demographic is, I want a shit ton of sugar. I want calories. I want something that, kind of tastes like a dessert.
Wait, I saw the funniest TikTok last night while we're on the topic of calories and shit like that. And it was like, men will be like men these days are like, oh, like I don't eat, I forget, I think her name was Audrey that posted it. I forget her last name, but she posted this thing. She's like, men will be like, yeah, like I'm trying to avoid seed oils, or like, oh, I'm trying to avoid like, dairy or whatever the fuck it is. And like men be like that. Like I'm on the high protein carnivore diet, but then they put a Zyn in their mouth and like, you're and right. And like down like 12 beers.
No, but I mean, I'm not
funny.
I'm not saying this because like, oh, I'm an almond mom and healthy king, blah, blah, blah. But okay, maybe I am biased. I like just black coffee. As psycho as that could sound, I usually just drink cold brew black. That's how I like it. So when I get these options, if you're like, oh yeah, let's go get some coffee, and then you give me this massive bomb that has a shit ton of sugar and cream and milk and like all these crazy flavors and shit,
peppermint sprinkles and
to me it's like, dude, like
they're doing
just
too much.
Give me my black coffee.
They're doing too much. Yeah,
the Rebel thing is nice though.
No, they're right. You can. That's the thing about Pacific Northwest. You can drive every street. There is a drive-through energy drink place. That does not exist in the rest of the states, and I love that shit.
Because sometimes, like when you're craving, like, oh, I want a raspy, like fresh, cold drink that has energy, like you tend to think, oh, okay, Celsius, Alani, all those things. But like it is kind of nice, I guess, that you can get like a drink, not as sweet. It has energy, blah, 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 and it's refreshing. It's not bad.
Okay, I love that for you. I'm glad that you're adopting it. Okay, so this is so funny. We bought like little microphones and I packed them in my bag and we brought them so we could record this. I have my DSLR camera set up recording us right now. Usually I have a much more professional setup since I go into a studio to record, but right now we're just like plugged into my laptop. I don't even know if these microphones sound good or not, so I'm really sorry if the audio is not super crispy today, but these were recommended to me by a friend, and I think they're pretty good. They're Rhodes, so I'm hoping for the best there. So we're kind of bootlegging it today, and it is the last day of our, I don't even know, we've been gone from Austin for like
2 weeks.
2 weeks, 12 days, I don't really know, but it is the last day of our trip. We leave Oregon tomorrow. We fly out at about 1 o'clock, and the craziest thing is we fly out at 1, we get into Austin at like 7:38, and then we move the next morning. I don't know why I decided to do this schedule-wise, but we had to move things around with our new building and stuff, and they were being difficult, so we ended up we have to move on Saturday. It's like the only day we can do it because Rafa has to go into the office the week after and work and stuff. So yeah, we're moving on Saturday. I'm nervous. I don't even know how to feel. We've had the most stressful day running around, getting Wi-Fi and utilities and packages set up, and we just ordered our bed, our mattress, our bedside tables, a TV stand, a couch, a rug, mirrors, and a dining table. How are you feeling?
I mean, I'm excited that we've made a lot of progress and we have a lot of stuff that obviously we need. But then obviously just the thought of, okay, now we're going back, we have to move everything. But then on top of that, we're living separately right now, right? So we each have a ton of shit that we've agreed to not bring into the new place. So there's a lot of stuff that has to go into the Facebook marketplace, and let's get rid of this and that.
Oh God.
And then we only have a week to do it. So I'm in the office all day, then getting home and starting to pack, and then selling shit, and then moving stuff. And I mean, well, I don't want to sound like we're just complaining, but it's stressful, right?
They say moving is one of the top 4 or 5 most stressful things in life. It's like moving, divorce. There's a few other ones, but hopefully no divorce in the future.
Hopefully not.
But moving is stressful, unless you're just one of those people that can hire people to do absolutely everything for you. I am hiring movers. Thank the Lord for movers. But like, even with movers, it's still so much work. Because I don't want the movers to like unpack for me and put things in places. Like I need to do that because I'm very specific about where things should go. I also want to get rid of a lot of stuff that I've just been hoarding in my apartment for the last few years. I know you do too. The reason we're kind of buying all new furniture instead of like bringing what we have is just because, I don't know, this just feels like such a new beginning with him. This is your first time ever living with someone else, a girl. And we both kind of agreed, like, let's just start fresh. A lot of his furniture is from college. A lot of mine is from when I first moved to Austin. Again, got that in a previous relationship. It's time for a fresh start. So we're ordering all new furniture. We basically got the bare bones done, but we still have a lot to go. We've ordered from CB2, Castlery, and then we finally decided on a mattress. We got a Nectar mattress. Rafa spent hours going back and forth of whether he wanted Casper or Nectar.
That's one of my issues. It's like I tend to be pretty, like I don't really care about a lot of stuff, and I'm pretty, especially when it comes to like decisions, I'm like usually, whatever happens. I don't truly care. I don't think a lot. But when it comes to like big decisions, I do like to go in rabbit holes, and then once I enter that rabbit hole, it is very hard to bring me out of it. And this applies to like right now, like I'm shopping for new running shoes, and I swear I've been researching for like 2 weeks and in TikTok and Google and these fucking websites, and I'm back at square one, right? But anyway, yes, for the mattress, it's the same.
Yeah.
Where do you start? Google. What are the best mattresses? You go on all these annoying ass blog forums, and then you go on TikTok.
He reads blog forums.
And then you go on
I love it.
TikTok reviews, and then like, oh, you open this TikTok video, and it's like, oh, I got my new Casper mattress. This is best. And then you go into the comments, and people are like, this mattress fucking sucks.
Or what did that one person say?
I woke up and it had fiberglass all over, and like my whole apartment is stained, and we're in legal battles. And then you're like, oh shit. And then you go to the other competitor, Nectar, and you see all these amazing reviews, and then you again open the comments, or you go see more reviews, and they're like, yeah, I lost my fucking leg because of his mattress. And I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I do one thing. Last thing I'll say is, one of the good things is in today's day and age, a lot of these mattress companies, they all look like, modern, trendy, whatever, but they do say like, okay, you get 100 nights, or the one we got ended up giving us a year-long sleep trial.
As long as we don't stain it.
Yeah, as long as we don't fuck it up. But I mean,
as long as the cats
that's
don't
enough,
maybe
right?
barf
Like we can
on
try it, and then if after a month we don't like it, we'll return it. So anyway.
That's the mattress shenanigans. Anyways, we decided on Nectar. Let's hope it works. I don't really care. I feel like I'll sleep on anything. I'm not really a picky sleeper, but this man over here is a picky sleeper. But something I love so much about him, and I think what makes us different in this way, is like, if he's going to purchase something or like make a decision, he is going to research it. Like he's been researching the running shoes for like the last 12 hours straight.
But it's usually, I mean, but I feel like that's a good thing when
it is. I'm saying that's something I like about it.
No, right. When it's like big money, right? Like a mattress is fucking expensive. Like the racing running shoes, they're expensive. So like I don't want to just buy something and then be like, well, this sucks. Time on to the next.
No, and that's why I love that is there's things that I just don't have the time or energy to research like for our house, and you do it, and I really love that you do that. I think it's really helpful.
And for me, it's like I don't care about anything in the house. Like, you like that rug? Sure, baby. You like that color of the couch? Whatever. But it's like the mattress. I have such a bad sleep, and like I'm always awake, and I wake in the slightest sound that I'm like, I need to be very, very happy with the mattress. Everything else, I don't give a shit.
So, Nectar, if you're listening to this, we're trying you, and if you fucking suck, I will make it known.
And we're gonna go in all the comments and TikTok and be like, this mattress ruined my life.
Yeah, one time last year, Rafa and I ordered rugs. We both like saw Ruggable ads, and we were like, whoa, these rugs look so cool. Like they have these really cool trendy designs. So we both order rugs for our apartments. We're so excited. They come in. They were the ugliest, cheapest, thinnest, shittiest rugs. I'm sorry, Ruggable. Like, I don't know if we ordered the worst ones on your website, and I'm sure you do have better ones out there, but these rugs were heinous. Remember?
But it was like this, like special edition. Like it was like a tiger and a snake, and like
they were so ugly. And online I was like, that looks sick, and then it came and it was like paper thin.
Immediately returned them.
Immediately returned. So that's why you do your research, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a stressful ass weekend. I don't even want to think about it. I'm trying not to think about it. We just need to manifest good vibes. And I'm so excited that I get so excited when we go on vacations because I'm like before I'm like, oh my God, I get to sleep with you for like 10, 12 days in a row. Like I get so excited because I love staying with him. We obviously don't do that every night in Austin because like it's inconvenient when all of his stuff is at his and mine's at mine, and we both have our own lives. But we're officially going to get to sleep together every night. I can't wait. That's like my dream. I love it. Like, I'm so excited. What are you looking forward to most about living with me?
I mean,
or living together?
Outside of the obvious of living together, coexisting, being around each other and like uniting as a couple, what do you call it? Like
full-term pregnancy.
Full-time pregnancy. The little things, right? Because obviously, like in the past 2 years that we've been together, I mean, we see each other very often, right? Like every weekend we're doing sleepover and we're together. During the week, after work, I'll go over to yours, whatever. But all the logistics about, okay, I'm home and then I'm going to go see you, so I have to drive over to yours and then drive back late to mine, and like all those back and forth. I'm just so excited to finally stop doing that. I'm
most excited to... I feel like in a relationship, like for me, and I think for you too, but for me especially, like acts of service means so much to me, and I think like deepen that connection and love for each other even more. But it's like we can't do that right now in our day-to-day because, it's not like we're together every morning making breakfast. Like that's only like once a week. So I don't know. I'm just excited to see kind of how we show up for each other in that aspect. And I saw like Katy Perry on Call Her Daddy say like, I don't need a red Lamborghini. Like I can buy that shit myself. Like if you empty the dishwasher and like do this, like I'm on my knees, you know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, like things like that where I'm just excited to see how we like coexist living together. And I feel like if you can pass, the test of successfully living together, like it's end game, Yes. Not that I don't already think it is, but I just think it's like that final test of like, okay, how do we coexist together? And is this something that can work forever,
Yeah, no. And I think the cool thing is that, I mean, even though we technically haven't lived together, I mean, given, I'm at yours most of the time, a lot of the times it's like, okay, we're hungry, like, oh, we don't have food to cook because you only do groceries for yourself. I do groceries for myself, so we don't have food, but there's this and that. But like, I think now we're going to start developing these habits of like, okay, now it's like one living couple, creature, whatever, under the same roof. So like, let's go make groceries together. Like, what are we going to be cooking this weekend? Like that opens up, the opportunity to like start developing those habits of cooking for two, cleaning for two, and like we've had a ton of conversations around like what we expect, what are some boundaries, things that we want to make sure that are top of mind for the both of us.
And things will come up in our day-to-day where like we're both being really lazy about something, and we'll immediately like recognize it and be like, we cannot do this regularly when we live together. So I think it's also like, it's okay if we fuck up, we're going to fuck up, but like you have to recognize it and be like, all right, like we're being so lazy every day at this time or whatever it is, like we need to try to combat that or whatever. Like we get in a routine of not waking up to like exercise, and it's like holding each other accountable, it's
and communication at the end of the day, right? And like having the awareness of like, okay, I'm noticing that maybe I am or maybe you are, but like we're developing habits that aren't necessarily the best, like recognizing that and being open and communicating about it, like that's obviously super key.
And knowing when each other needs space.
Yeah, for sure.
You need your space every now and again.
I need my space, yeah.
You like wipe your face.
No, not in a bad way, but I mean, obviously I love being with you, but I mean, this is every person, right? Like, I don't know if it's like a guy thing or like, I'm sure it's a human thing, but like, it's nice to have your alone time where you can just disconnect, de-stress, just be with yourself, be with your own thoughts, and just do your own thing, right? Because
you'll just get lost in the sauce. You need to have moments where you can just reflect with no one else around.
Yeah, and just like exist alone and like take a breather. And this doesn't apply to like my relationship, but it applies to everything, right? Like family, friends, whatever. Like you need time alone.
Yeah.
And I've never been in a situation where I'm living with a girlfriend or like someone this close, so that'll be definitely something new for me. Yeah, for sure. Someone this clingy.
And I'm not gonna lie, like I lean on him so much throughout the day. Like, oh baby, I'm really stressed about this, or I need to get this and this done. Like, help me think through it, help me work through it. Like and that's something I love so much about our relationship is like we can lean on each other, depend on each other, whatever, for things. But I can be a lot, and I know that especially on busy days, I can be like, oh fuck, like this, like kind of like help me compartmentalize, because I have trouble like compartmentalizing where I should start and where I should finish, and he helps me a lot with that. But I have to remember to like, you need your space too, you need your time, and I can't just always be like, putting a bunch of things on you to like help me figure out. So that's something I'm going to try to work on. I'm not perfect.
No, but I feel like that's also two different things, right? Because like obviously I'm here for you day in and day out, right? Like anytime you need me, anytime you need just an ear, or like anyone to just be here to listen, to help, to give advice or whatever, like I'm always here for you. And like I need that from you as well, right? But I do think on a separate note, I think these are unrelated subjects, kind of related in a way. Just those few times a week or a month, whatever, where I'm like, you know what, like I just need a Fafis day. Like I need a day for me. I need to take myself out on a date, whether that's staying home and just doing my own thing, going outside, going somewhere, getting the car, and I don't know, whatever that may be. But
yeah,
as excited as I am
making your new Music Friday videos.
Exactly, like just doing the guy things that we all need, and I'm sure you do as well. So that's also something that, as much as again I love doing things with you and like being next to you 24/7, I also will obviously push you to be like, you need to go do your thing every now and then.
Yeah,
I think that's healthy.
That's very healthy. Last question on moving in together, and we'll move on. But what would you say is like your biggest fear before we move in together?
Like in terms of like living
just
together?
Like in terms of living together, what I guess is like, maybe when we first started having the conversations, like what were you kind of like, oh, like it scares me because...
I mean, I think it's similar to what I was just discussing, right? Like I've been living alone for 5 days, and I'm a pretty independent...
For 5 years.
For 5 years.
You said 5 days.
I've been living alone for 5 days. I'm very independent. I'm very grateful, obviously, that I have really good friendships and good social circles. I'm close to my family, obviously with you I'm super close, but I've always just really enjoyed being alone, right? Like being in my own space, in quiet, or with music, but being alone and just having that like escape from the outside world, I guess. Obviously when you start thinking and considering like, okay, now I'm going to move in with like my partner and I'm going to be living 24/7, one of the initial fears is like, oof, like obviously there's a lot of excitement, but like there's that fear as well of like, am I going to be, am I not going to have that like alone time?
Yeah.
Or that time to myself that I cherish and value so much. Or there's times where, like I mentioned this earlier in this podcast, that I have like, for example, I struggle with sleep a lot, right? So
He has insomnia.
Very bad. And sleeping alone, it's like, I need to sleep alone in a quiet ass room.
Yeah.
No one fuck with me.
He's
like,
never once slept with me
alone.
and been like, I had the best night's sleep last night.
And like when we started dating and we started sleeping at each other's apartments, like, dude, I would sleep 20 minutes.
Yeah, this is an interesting topic to bring up
that?
because I wonder if there's other people that relate to this because it's kind of niche, but not really because a lot of people struggle with sleep. But we didn't really consistently have like sleepovers in the beginning of our relationship because he just like, you know, I don't know. I feel like when you're a light sleeper and you sleep with someone, it's like you have to, when you're a light sleeper, in order to get good sleep, you have to be ultra comfortable, I think, in your setting and your surrounding. And like you need dark, you need your eye mask, you need certain things in order to be able to sleep just because you have insomnia. And so all of a sudden you have this like girlfriend and it completely changes up the environment that you're used to. I have my 2 cats that are running all over the place. We're in a queen size bed. Every single time I move at night, almost, this man wakes up.
Yeah.
So it took a long time for him to adjust. He obviously doesn't sleep perfectly with me, but like you do sleep a lot better than you used to.
Yeah. And I think just at the beginning, that was like something that it took me months to get used to it. Like I would not sleep, and yeah, like you said, like you move just a little bit and then I would wake up, and if I'm awake, falling back asleep is fucking impossible. So that was something that took me a lot of time to adjust, right? So just like anything else, like with time you adapt to things. So going back to your initial question of like what were some of the concerns, it was like more so that like, oh, will I ever adjust or adapt to, you know, kind of like getting rid of that independence. But then at the same time, king size
bed is going to help us
for sure.
I think upgrading from a queen to a king will help a lot.
And then again, like that brings back this same message of I will adapt, obviously. And again, it is important to have it present. Like if it's important for me or for you that like as much as we're excited to be with each other, still having that present of like, I need my alone time every now and then, things like that. Like I'm sure it'll be fine.
And you've really like explained that to me. And I think I'm like really going to try to respect those boundaries. Cause like from the beginning you were like, I value my alone time. I need my alone time and I want to live with you. And you've always valued it throughout our whole relationship. Like, you know, you need your nights that you just do your thing. And so I know moving in together, it's going to be a big adjustment, but I'm like, we've already had these conversations. So it's like, I know to respect that from the get-go rather than like having to learn it, which is fine too. But I think honestly, it just came down to like we had really good communication about this for so many months before we decided to even start looking at places.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm thinking we're going to have good success.
And it's obviously like that excitement. I'm sure every single couple in the history of the universe that decides to move together, like obviously it's all roses at the beginning, and you know it's like amazing, blah blah blah, and like we're gonna learn a lot of shit, I'm sure, and we're gonna trial and error, and I'm sure there'll be stuff that it is amazing. There'll be stuff that we're like, ooh, I don't know if I like this, but again, as long as
there's gonna be days where we're like, you're annoying the shit out of me, and that's normal.
And as long as we talk about it, I'm sure it will be fine.
I agree. Okay, so I just wanted to ask Rafa a few questions about us moving in together. Because I know I did a full episode on my advice and stuff on living with a partner, but we had to hear the man's opinion a little bit about it. And yeah, we're really excited. Huge new chapter loading for both of us. I can't wait. It's coming in 48 hours, which is insane. I am really excited for you to officially be a full-time father to my 2 cats. He was a stepfather, you know, he was in and out. He is now a full-time father, and I couldn't be more grateful for such a good father figure in their lives. You're truly a great example.
I have taken them as my own.
But to transition a bit here, because I don't want to focus the whole episode on our big move in together, I'm sure like after a month or 2 of us living together, we'll for sure do like an update and tell you guys how it's going. Maybe it crashes and burns. Hopefully not. But I want to talk a bit about, you know, in the fashion while we're here, while we're in Oregon. Where do we begin? This is your 3rd time here, right? Yep. So he came for the very first time last summer. We did this amazing Oregon road trip that I planned because, you know, he was coming for the first time and I was like, I have to show this man like what Oregon's about. It can't just be like, here's my suburban neighborhood, here's downtown Portland and like whatever. I was like, this has to be like a blow your balls off type of vibe.
And boy, did you blew them.
And I blew those balls off.
Dude, that was one of the best trips.
And so I planned this crazy road trip where we went from Mount Hood to the coast, down the coast to Crater Lake to Bend, like to Portland. We did this massive trip best trip ever. In my top 3 favorite vacations we've ever taken.
It was amazing. Yeah, you killed it.
We've already talked about that, I think, on our first episode. But so that was his first time here. That was his first time really like being with my family. But we were also on the road trip a lot of the time, so we didn't spend like a whole lot of time with them. Then he came again in June, and this is when you really got to know my family.
Yeah.
So this last June, we came here, and then we got in the car. We drove 9 hours to Montana with my parents, my brother, my brother's wife, my sister-in-law, and then his 2 nieces. I do have another brother and sister. Unfortunately, they couldn't come on that trip, but then Rafa came there and we spent like a long time with family. And then this most recent trip, we went to the beach with my family, same group as the group in Montana. And you've gotten to know them really well. And I just want to like commend you is the word I want to use, because you've just been so amazing with them. They love you. And I feel like you're such a perfect example of like what a parent would want in someone's partner. Like, I really do. I think you're so great. Like, you know, it's meant to be, and like, it's just right when like, I don't know. I've brought past boyfriends around my family where you just feel uncomfortable. Like, you feel like, oh, I need to entertain him. Oh, what's he saying? Oh, what's he doing? Or like, is he having fun? Is this awkward? What are they going to talk about? Like, does he feel awkward sitting over there? Like, there's been so many times where I've thought that, or I've been like, okay, like, we'll just go hang out for an hour and then we'll leave. Cause like, you can just feel that like, they feel uncomfortable. The craziest thing about this man that I did the other night, I was like, I cannot take this for granted because it is crazy. But like, there's never moments when we're together with my family that it just feels so comfortable. It feels right. Like, you feel like part of the family. You really do.
Aww.
You do. And I'm not just saying that. And I think they're the same way. Like, my mom loves having you around. I've never seen her like that with any guy brought around. She's like, I want Rafa to come on the trips. And like, she wants to go do things with just the 2 of us. And that's like so foreign for me, because usually it's not like that. And so I guess my questions to you are like how are you? My questions to you is like, how are you the way you are? But like, I don't know what, like, let's say there's someone out there listening that wants to introduce their boyfriend to their family and they're nervous, or there's a male out there listening who's about to meet his girlfriend's family. Like, I just feel like you've done such a good job of meeting them and asking questions and getting to know them. And how are you that way? Like, tell me, because I'm not that good at it. Like,
yes, you are.
No, I'm not that compared to you. Like, you've done such a good job, and he's always like helping with the dishes, helping unload things, getting my mom's bag, opening my mom's door for her. I'm like, things that I just forget because I'm like ADD. I'm like, I forget sometimes to do all of those things for my parents. I try, but you're so good at it. You were raised right. You really were.
Well, yeah, I guess that is. I thank you to my mom. I mean, I'll start by saying I'm nothing special. I'm no different than any other person out there, right? Like, I don't have any magic charm in terms of like every parent loves me by any means, not at all. But I think there's 2 things I guess I can say. One, just having obviously a genuine interest in bonding with your partner's family and getting to know them.
It's quite important.
There's always going to be nerves, of course. The first time I came over here and I was like, okay, I'm going to meet your parents for the first time. Of course I'm tense. Of course I have a stick up my ass and I'm like, okay, I need to be perfect, super polite. Yes, hello, thank you so much. You're welcome so much. Yes, let me get that for you. Let me do this, let me do this, let me do that. And I think that's pretty normal. Everyone feels that, I feel like, right? Like when you're meeting parents for the first time, you have to make a good impression. That's what it is. But at the same time, like, I didn't feel like this is going to be a moment where if I don't impress, I'm going to get neglected, or like I need to like truly be someone else in order to be liked. It was more so like, I'm going to be myself, obviously. I'm going to stay true to myself, obviously. But at the same time, yeah, am I going to be extra polite, extra thoughtful? Sure, right? Because you do obviously have that fear of I need to impress. But then at the same time, meeting them, they were so welcoming from the start. That made it easy too, right? It's not like your parents are so tough and like you warned me about.
I know,
like,
he was like worried to meet my dad. I'm like,
yeah,
you got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, you also told me like, dude, like they're so chill, like
Yeah.
they're gonna accept you no matter what. Like,
yeah,
that also gave me a lot of confidence too. But when I met them, obviously they welcomed me with open arms, and like that's everything that I needed in terms of like feeling accepted and like welcomed.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest is just obviously forming connections, right? And it's not just yes sir, yes ma'am, whatever you ask me I'll respond, and I'm just quiet like a good little boy. Like, no, like I want to get to know them as well, outside of like what do I want
Yeah.
you to think of me and like making a good impression, but I'm also like I want to
Yeah.
connect with you as well.
Like you were asking my dad about like his vintage car.
Everything. And,
My
like-
dad goes to car shows and
and,
he's
like,
like,
I-
Rafa's like inquiring about it. He just does such a good job at not just sharing things about himself, which is important, but it's so important to like not cross that line of sharing too much.
No, you
But
have to
like
have
share
the-
a good amount, but you also do put in such an effort to like ask them questions and get to know them, which means so much.
And that's exactly the other part. I said earlier, like there was two things, right? Like the first one is sure, like the thought about I need to make a good impression and all this and all that. But the other part is just having that genuine interest. At the end of the day, it sounds pretty stupid and basic, but I do cherish those moments, right? Like where I'm like interacting with your parents or with your brother, your sister, whatever, like in front of you, where like we're all interacting as a group. But then also those moments where like, you know, maybe you go to the bathroom, you're here, you're there, and like I have an opportunity to like build my own connection / relationship with a member of your family. Like I'm gonna take advantage of that, right?
Yeah.
Like we're all different, like every person in your family is different, just like every person in my family and everyone's family, but taking advantage of those opportunities to connect,
Yeah.
ask questions, see what you have in common, and like just learn about
Yeah.
each other, like that naturally would lead you to start building a bond, right?
Yeah.
Um,
You know, one thing that I think really rubs a lot of parents the wrong way that you obviously don't do, but, and I just think like, yeah, piece of advice for anyone meeting someone's parents, but I think parents can really sniff out when someone's trying way too hard.
yes, exactly.
And that, like, I know just like with, like past relationships and stuff, and seeing my parents interact, I have 4 siblings, like parents can just sniff that shit out when someone's trying so hard to impress, and just, there's such a fine line between like, you know, being really generous and help and you're caring and stuff like that, but not like going above and beyond to brag or to try too hard. And that's something that I think you've really mastered, and it's just like a sign of maturity and everything. But I think it's hard because, you know, you're meeting parents, you're nervous, you want to impress them. Like, how can you balance not seeming like you're trying too hard, but, you know, still be, I don't know what I'm
And
saying.
I mean, I think at the beginning it's always normal that you're gonna end up trying a bit harder than just being your natural calm self, obviously, because it's again those nerves and you wanting to impress and like look good and whatever. It is important to like not overdo it and be polite, be respectful, like, you know, have manners. But yeah, like also just like don't try too hard. Like don't force
Be
it.
casual. I love that I
Be
can.
casual.
Something I like didn't think about in the moment, but when I was reflecting in bed the other night, I did is like so many times during this last trip when we went to the beach, like I went to the bathroom or I was getting ready or I was with my niece, and Rafa was like with my parents or Pierce and Jana, my brother and my sister-in-law, and I didn't think anything of it in the moment because it just feels so comfortable to have him there. But like I can just leave you alone and I don't even think about it, and I think that's such a sign of like it being meant to be, you know what I mean? Whereas like if it feels awkward and it feels uncomfortable and you're constantly thinking about, are they okay? Are they awkward? Oh, should I go get him? Does he need me by my side? That's like, you know, it's just not a good feeling. I don't know. I feel so good to have you mesh naturally, and I think that's important.
And
in
I
the
think
long
also
term.
like something that helped me, like, you know, with my confidence with your family too, is that, you know, especially at first when like I'm feeling nervous or tense, it's like when I'm in that room, whether it's with you and them or it's just with them and you're not there, it's like never forgetting that, you know, the reason that I'm here is because you chose to bring me here and you chose to invite me here, right? So like you in a way, obviously by being with me and me being with you, like you vetted me in a way in terms of like, okay, like I want to bring you to my family, right? And like that to me is like a nice feeling of saying like, okay, wow, like you're comfortable bringing me to meet them. You feel good about me meeting them. Like you're not hand holding me and you're allowing me to be by myself. I'm like, that's a sign of that you trust me. And I hope that reflects to your family members' eyes in terms of like, okay, well, she decided to bring him, you know, she must see something in him. And now it's just up to me to be myself and show that, you know, like I'm not just this fucking weird guy or like, I'm just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. What, I guess, because, you know, you've never dated someone, like you've never dated into like a white American, typical traditional white American family. Were there anything like you were nervous about before meeting my family, just like culturally different? Because like you obviously have only ever dated other Latinas or Hispanics. So like, I don't know, it's a different, I just think when you meet like a Hispanic family, it's very different than like a white family. Like your family is just like they're different in different ways. Was there anything you were nervous about?
I mean, I can't think of anything specifically. to be honest. Not, I mean, there's a lot of things I was nervous about, but in terms of like what it could be a culturally different thing, like I wasn't really thinking about.
I think that was more. I was more nervous about that versus you because you lived in America for a long time. So whereas like I was nervous to meet your parents because they are fairly traditional and like I just didn't know. I don't know what the typical norm vibe is, and it made me very nervous. It did, but they of course were.
Yeah, and like I feel like with Mexican family and the Hispanics and all this and all that, like. Not that we're super different by any means, but there's a lot more of like, family and family is everything and these traditions and all these and all that. And
like, you don't, for example, like my family and I sit down, we talk a bit, we eat dinner, then we get up and we go do our own thing, or someone will go watch TV, someone will do this. Whereas like in his family, like when we get together, we get together.
Yeah,
like we are sitting. I know we talked about this in our first episode, but like you sit there 4 or 5 hours, you talk about everything under the sun, which I love because that's like, we don't spend that much time with his family, but that's how I've gotten to become close with them is because when we do, it's such an extended period of time. Whereas mine, it's like, you see, we sit down to dinner for like an hour and it's over. So it's like things like that are like, they're small, but they are different. And it was something where I was like, wait, when we finish, we don't get up. Like we keep, and we have like a carajillo and keep going. Like, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say there was anything like specifically like different or anything. I mean, it was, I think, intimidating for sure. Obviously given my experience is mostly with Hispanic or Mexico and this and that, like I mean obviously I speak English very, very well, but I am in a way different in Spanish versus English, especially when it comes to like being formal and like dealing with parents and stuff. Like I was also a bit intimidated of like, oh wow, like are they gonna think I am different, or are they gonna be like, oh like, you know what I mean, like I don't know.
Do you feel like you're funnier in Spanish?
For sure.
Really? I hate that I'm like dating this man and I don't even know the Spanish side of him. Like now that I think about it, I guess like I don't know who you are. I mean, I kind of do, but I don't like fully know who you are.
I mean, there is this thing obviously that, I mean, obviously I'm the same fucking person, right? But everyone says this, if you're native in 2 languages, that like whatever your stronger language is, like you're obviously the same person, but there are little differences in your personality, the way you talk, like the way you say things. And Spanish is just such an elaborate language that like there's obviously the normal language that you speak Spanish with, but then there's like, I don't even know how to say this in English, but like
he always does that. I don't even know how to say this in English. Like
slang and like these mannerisms and this and that, and like it's just different.
His mom calls me, what is it? Muñequita, which is like cute little doll.
She's like, hola muñequita.
I love that in Spanish there's like those terms that mean like cute little things, like like muñequita, or like what's another one, like I don't know, like I love that you can call your stomach pancita, like little stomach, like that's so cute. Like we can't, there's no definitive in English, you know what I mean? I mean, I guess there's a little bit, but no, nothing hits harder than the ito and the ita. Every single thing we say is like in ito or ita.
And look, you've done an amazing job at obviously learning Spanish and picking up on a lot of things, and I speak to you a lot in Spanish and you're doing a tremendous job. But especially now that you said like, oh, what if he has a little different alter ego / personality in Spanish that I don't know? Well, now that you're live and you're being recorded, it's a perfect opportunity.
Now I'm actually really like, damn, like I really need to learn Spanish because, and now that we're going to live together, like we can practice every day. Type of thing where like we can just be like at home and you can be like teaching me things. We do Spanish words of the day. What should the word be today? What is fingernail?
Uña.
That's the Spanish word of the day. What's nail polish? You don't know?
Wait, sometimes this happens. Wait, I'm speaking too much English. I forgot.
I know he's been speaking English for 12 days, and sometimes when he does that, he like kind of loses it for a bit.
For a few like specific things like that, like, and this is silly things that I'm like,
what is? I'm looking around. Nintendo DS.
Wait.
Nintendo DS.
Nintendo DS.
Oh God, we got my DS out the other day. I have like this like nostalgia cabinet that has a bunch of stuff from childhood in it, from like pictures to books to whatever, and we got my Nintendo DS out. I have Cooking Mama on that bitch. I got Nintendogs. I got Phineas and Ferb. I got Super Mario Bros. I got Super Mario Kart, and I was playing. It was so fun. Like we were also talking about this. I'm getting off like on a bunch of different tangents, but about how like when you were a kid, your screen time, like back then my screen time was my Nintendo DS that I would play for like maybe an hour or two a day, and then you would shut it because it would die or whatever, your mom yelled at you to get off of it, And then you had to like go exist in the world and play, or go outside or play with a ball or go talk to your siblings. Like you just had to exist in the world. And I think about it now and I'm like, well, especially for children. But like there's just not hardly any of that anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's so different. And I'm like, I can't believe my parents considered that like Nintendo DS time like bad. Like I remember them being like really, they monitored me on it, and I'm like, that was nothing. Me running around feeding my damn Nintendogs versus like what is available now to kids.
This fucking kids with like iPads and all these things. Yeah.
And it's just so different. I don't know, but that's just some food for thought. Maybe we should throw away our iPhones for children. No more iPhones and iPads for children. Like let's just slap them with a DS. There ain't no bullying. Well, you could bully someone on PictoChat maybe, but I'm pretty sure you have to be within like 10 feet to do PictoChat, if anyone remembers PictoChat. But fuck the iPads. Let's give children Nintendo DSs, okay? There's nothing bad about Super Mario Bros, truly. Moving on. What has been like one of your favorite parts about being in Oregon?
Well, I think this specific trip, I don't know, I just feel like the first time we came, it was like a welcome to Oregon, but it was like a welcome to Oregon, cabrón. Like we rode around the entire state.
And Rafa the whole time was like, I can't believe like this is real. He was like, because we went to obviously the most gorgeous parts of the States, and he was like, I can imagine what it was like to move to Texas, like when you lived here.
No, it's crazy. And I mean, the first time we did the whole thing, we did like the mountains, the forest, we did like the Mount Hood and hiking up there, and then we went to the coast, and then we went to like the sand dunes, and then the desert. Like we saw everything there was to see, and I was just like, holy shit. And then obviously now I didn't see technically anything new per se, but it's a different kind of vibe, right? Like with your family, like we went to this Airbnb in the mountains with the beach, like that was very magical, of course. And I mean, honestly, spending time with your family, like that's super cool, and it's important to me, and I'm glad and grateful that, you know, I'm able to come. And I mean, honestly, like as we said earlier, like I was in Montana with you guys in May, like 3 months ago, and then this trip came up, and you were like, hey, we're gonna go to the Oregon coast. We rented an Airbnb, and I was even like, okay, like sounds very fun. Obviously,
but like
I'd love to go,
went.
but I was like, I just went. Like I also want you to go alone and like have time with your parents, because like you don't live with them, so I don't want to just start becoming baggage and a +1 every time you come to your parents. I have to come as much as I would love to, but like you should come and enjoy your own time with them as well. It's important.
Yeah.
And then you were like, no, we want you to come. And then your mom was like, yeah, you need to come.
Yeah,
like, wow,
I've never had my
so
parents so vocally be like, we want Rafa to, like, or we want it, like, with a man ever in my life, be like, we want him to come. Usually my parents honestly would prefer, in the past, would prefer just me, so they can spend more time with just me, one-on-one. After they met this man, they were like, is Rafa coming? Is Rafa? Just in the car on the way back, my mom was like, Rafa, you better come for Thanksgiving. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, it's so cool. Like, I feel so happy, and I'm so lucky and grateful.
For sure. And that was like my favorite thing, obviously, like spending time with them. And I mean, the first time obviously was the introduction trip. Second time was like the bonding trip. First time in the Airbnb, where like you start to bond and like you start to see each other in, you know, in our own elements. And then this time was like we're all very comfortable with each other. Like, let's just hang out. And this was like the first proper like casual hangout that I didn't feel any nerves of like, oh, I need to be composed in this. It was, I mean, I'm not obviously a lazy piece of shit. I'm like doing anything bad, but at the same time I was like, I feel so comfortable with them that I'm excited to just truly go on a vacation and hang out. Quick
last part of the podcast that I want to talk about is that I just want to recap. Oh, 1 second.
And off.
Okay, we're recording. I think it just like thought like I left it recording because it was recording for so long. Okay, sorry. Technical difficulties. We're back. Last thing I want to talk about is another little recap on the last trip. We talked a bit about our trip to Oregon. But before we went to Oregon, we were in New York for... Is it still recording? Okay. I'm sorry. I'm scared that we're going to like lose all the files in this. That's not going to be fun because I already had to skip this week and I didn't have an episode this week because we were just traveling. I tried to record when we were in New York and we didn't have any time. It was chaos. So this needs to come out next week or I'll be so mad. So there better not be any damaged files. Anyways, we were in New York for like 3 or 4 days last week before we came to Oregon. And Rafa, we went for something very special that when I called Rafa and I told him that we were going to go to New York for this, he was like, no fucking way. What was that?
I mean, I feel like at this point everyone knows,
yeah, I know.
Obviously, but...
I know.
Where did we go?
The U.S. Open, which I know a lot of people go. It's very common, especially people who live in New York, but We had never been.
I've never been, and it's something I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
I love watching tennis, and I always said, like, oh, I know one day I want to go to the US Open, but it's one of the things where, like, you never plan them, and you're just like, one day, whatever. And then when you call me out of the blue, like, guess what? We just got well, not we. I, as in you. I got invited, and maybe I can bring a plus one. I was like...
I was like, begged them to bring a plus one
tell me whose ass I need to kiss, because I will do anything.
I begged them to bring a plus one because usually, like, when it's things like that, like, brands aren't always super lenient with that kind of thing because, you know, it's expensive for the brand. I begged. I was like, you don't understand. This means the world to my boyfriend. He has to come. Like, and I was able to bring Rafa, and oh my God, guys, we had the best time in New York. I mean, okay, first off, I just have to say this. At the US Open, crazy. I was sitting there, we're watching the games. We stayed the whole time. We were from 6 to midnight. We watched Coco Gauff, and then we watched Djokovic. So we watched like two of the best players, which was just so surreal. Seeing Coco Gauff in her element. I think she's like 20 years old, right?
Yeah.
She is an animal. Her serve is fucking crazy.
Yeah, she's insane. It was sick to watch her.
But as we're watching, I turn around, and none other than Janae from Love Island walks into Janae Craig walks into the suite. I shit my fucking pants. I was like, there's no way that Janae is here in the flesh. Like, I obsessively consumed Love Island this year. I was obsessed with it. I still am obsessed with it. I'm eating up all the content. And when I saw her in person, I actually died. Rafa was like, Taryn, I think you're more excited about Janae than you are to be watching the tennis player.
You were.
Not true. Maybe a little bit true. And I went up to her and I was like, not even gonna front right now. I'm obsessed with you. I think you're so cool. You're gorgeous in person. I can't believe, like, I don't know. I don't even remember what I said, to be honest. I kind of blacked out, which is so funny because Ralph was like, dude, you're acting crazy. But it was just so, I don't know, it was surreal to me. I've like barely met any like celebrities or famous people in my life. So like seeing someone from TV in person is like kind of crazy for me. I've met influencers and stuff in real life, but never like people from TV, you know? So it was cool. But the suite was insane.
You're so nervous.
I was so nervous. Like, Rafa was like, dude, I was like, should I go up to her now? Like, I didn't know what to do. I was so nervous.
So she came in and you're obviously like, I can't just go right now, baby. And I'm like, no, like, you don't need to overwhelm it immediately and run to her, but like, just let it sit, let her be here for a bit, and then just casually go. And you're like, no, I'm not going to. And I was like, baby, like, come on, wait, just go up and be like, hi, how are you? I'm a big fan. Can we take a pic? And you're like, no.
I was so nervous,
took you,
guys.
Like 30 minutes.
Because it's just like, I don't know how to not be like a fangirl. Like, I wanted to be cool. Like, I was like, please be like, I want to be friends with you so bad. She was so cool. So that was amazing. And then, yeah, we had like good food. We got dinner. We watched all the matches. We were like some of the last people there. Because Rob was like, I am staying till the fucking end. Like, I'm not missing a second of this. Stayed through the whole thing. And then we left. I had blisters. I was walking barefoot down the street in Queens. Really hard to get a driver to take us home. Got home. We got pizza. Worst pizza ever. It was from Quality Pizza in New York. I'm just going to call them out right now because Quality...
I don't know. Okay, I don't know if they deserve the backlash we're giving them because
we
did order it like very late.
True, we ordered it at 2 a.m.
It looks like they were closed and this was like a DoorDash, like... It kind of looked like, you know, pizza, like, that's just been left over. So I wonder if we go in person, if it's good or if it's bad. But at least the one we got at that time, it was ass.
They gave us the pizza that had been, like, rotting in the back for a few days. It was so bad. But when you're a little tipsy at 2 a.m., anything counts. We still ate every single piece.
I mean, yeah, but was it good?
No. But I had so much fun in New York. Aside from the Open, what were some of your favorite parts of the trip?
Well, not to sound like that annoying ass guy that, running is my personality, but I did enjoy running there. Obviously, right now that I've been doing a lot of running for my training, it was very cool to get outside of like the Austin routes and just go running like what is it called? The West Line Highway?
West Side Highway. Running in New York is elite.
Running in Manhattan, then I went to the East Side and like that was really cool. Obviously the food. Enjoyed it so much. We had really good food. We ate at this Thai place, which was fucking bomb. You guys, if you're ever in New York City, go to Fish Cheeks. We were looking at this Indian place that looked amazing called Bungalow, and then we walked in and the girls, like the hostess, looked at us like we were fucking peasants. They were like, how dare you step in here without a reservation? And they just looked at me and I was like trying to be nice and charming, like, hey, like what are the odds? Like, you have like maybe space for two, and they were like, get the fuck out of here. It was like one of those New York restaurants where it was like, who are you to think that you can just walk in here and get a table, bitch? Like, yeah, and then you gotta reserve this shit 2 months in advance. shout out to my friend Rago. I doubt he's obviously going to listen to this, but he actually told us, he was like, guys, if you can't get into the bungalow, just go to Fish Cheeks. Don't even ask. Just go. Trust. And we're like, all right, whatever. We went, and what?
And I remember when we were leaving bungalow, I was a little bummed. I was like, damn, like I really wanted Indian food tonight. And you're like, let's just try Fish Cheeks. I was like, all right. Expecting nothing, honestly.
Yeah, we were like, I mean, it's a rec from someone we trust, but like, whatever.
It blew my mind. It was one of the best meals I've had this year. If you go, you have to get the like branzino fish and then the crab curry. Oh. And the chicken wings.
Yeah, like Asian chicken wings and...
Yeah, and
it was fucking
we got to sit outside in the street and they block off Bond Street. I think it's Bond Street, right? Yeah.
I don't know.
They block it off, so it was just like so romantic. Like it was like your New York movie type of night vibe.
Yeah, that was so weird.
And we also went to Jack's on Bond that night and I got a caprese martini. Holy shit, guys. Caprese martinis are unreal. It's like a savory martini and it has like balsamic vinegar. It was crazy. I think the food, I mean, mainly all we did was eat and what else do you do? Walk around.
Because like we've seen everything tourist-wise, so like it's not like I wanted to go see areas or you, because like we've seen everything before. So it's just more so like, okay, we're only obviously here for the US Open, so if we have 2 extra days, what should we do? Let's be active to feel good, and then let's just go pig out.
Yeah, the only reason I like was willing, because typically if we don't really work out on vacation... No, and this was never. Some of the first times we've exercised regularly on a trip. Usually we just roll out of bed, get a coffee, and get a bagel. And since he's training, I was like, all right, you know what? Like, I'm going to try to do it with you. Like, you know, when your partner works out and you don't, you're like, fuck. Like, it's motivating.
Yeah.
It really is when, like, you're whatever, even if it's eating better or it's working out, it's, like, motivating when your partner does it. You're like, fuck, I need to do it. So when you were getting up and running, I was like, bitch, I need to do that too. So I went and ran with him, and I was reluctant. I was like, oh, my God, this was so hard because I had not ran in a while. One of the highlights of the trip. It was so fun. Nice.
I've never been the type to work on vacation, and usually when I see people that go on vacation and working out, I'm like, dude, you're a psycho. But then we did it this time for the first time, and it was so nice. And just getting out there in the morning, like going on a little jog or a run, and like different ambience, you're looking at different things, different people, the weather's nice, and then you finish early and you're like, okay, now we get to start the day, but you feel good, right? Like,
and then when we downed that bagel, I was like, I feel a little less bad about this.
Yeah, and like you go get coffee, and like you go eat your bagel, and then like you start walking around, and you're like, okay, like I worked out earlier in the morning, I've been walking all day, like let's go eat. Like, I don't know, it was good.
It was good. That was one of the highlights for sure. And then the day before we went to the Open, we went to this little like tennis lesson with a vino. I actually made a reel about it. I'm probably going to post that tomorrow, so you guys might have already seen it before I talk about this. But we got to do this little like tennis lesson, which was really, really fun. Little mini massages and a happy hour. That was also a highlight, was that event. It's weird for me. I'm still like, I don't know. I mean, I've been to some brand events and stuff. I haven't been doing social media that long. It's still like a very weird, surreal feeling to go to them. I'm like, I'm invited to this. Like, you want me here? Like, what? It's an interesting feeling, but I'm obviously like, I'm so excited and I'm so grateful for it. It's like such a fun thing to do, but I'm still like, what the hell am I doing here? Especially when they're like in a different state. Like in Austin, I'm like, okay, I get it. You know, the Austin content creator scene isn't huge, you know, whereas like New York, I feel like is like the fucking big leagues.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like very surreal to be there. How do you feel when you go to like, cause you've been now to a few brand things with me. What is that like? Cause I mean, it's not like you'd ever done it, I guess, before. What are your like thoughts on it?
I mean, they're fun. And you know me, I love meeting people, chatting it up. So I was talking to people.
It was funny. The whole Rafa's like chatting up the whole Avino team. He's like getting to know all the people. Rafa's
so
coming up to me. He's like, oh, I just met that girl. She lives in this place. Like, you should go talk to her. She's really cool. And I'm like, oh yeah, like thank you for reminding me. Because the most important thing at a brand event, I think, and for any other like maybe creators or aspiring content creators, that whatever, the most important thing is, I mean, sure, it's of course meeting other creators and stuff, but it is connecting with the brand. That is the most important thing. Like, the brand is paying for you to be there. They're doing all these things, and I've seen it go both ways, where like some creators completely
and like
brush off and ignore the brand, and they show up, you get your free drinks, you get your free product, and you leave. And then, you know, there's people that like show up, sure, they get their drink and their product or whatever, but they really take time to connect with the brand. And I'm like, that is something I've really instilled in myself, that I'm like, I want to get to know the brand. I want to meet these people. Some of these people that you meet, they're like busting their fucking ass, event planning, and they're traveling across the country and they're doing all these things. And I'm like, I don't know. I just feel bad when, you know, people come in and they're just there for like the product and the pictures, and not to like be like, hi, I'm Taryn. It's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having me. Like, holy shit, you know?
Yeah, no.
Because they're the people at the end of the day that call the shots.
And it's not so much like, oh, talk to them to like build your network with them and like get something out of them. But no, like, yeah, like they're fucking normal. Like they're people, they're human. So I don't know. Anytime you see me, when I go to your events, like usually it's not like I'm like, oh, there's other creators, let me go meet them. I'm like, oh, like who works here? Like I want to go chat with you. And I ask them questions like, how you doing? Like what's going on here? Like what do you have to do for this? How does it feel? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And usually people are so nice. In this specific case, the people from Avino,
they were so
all
nice.
of them were so lovely, so nice.
Yeah.
The nicest people. I really enjoyed hanging out with them.
Same. I love Nicole.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love Nicole. Nicole, if you're listening to this, I fucking love you, girl. Like, and some of the times, like, I end up becoming friends with some of the people, and like we follow each other and we stay in contact. Like, I don't know. Yeah, they're just at the end of the day, these a lot of the time it's women, but women and men, whatever. They're all working so hard to put on these big events for people, and a lot of them are traveling across the country. And I just I don't know. I think it's important to be like, dude, thank you. Like, you're awesome, and you're working so hard. So I don't know. It's an interesting thing. When you first go, it can be overstimulating and you don't even know where to start. And I think...
But there are a lot of creators that go and, like, act so entitled. And, like, they show up like, oh, look at me. I'm a celebrity and I just sit and I have, like, I'm acting like I have better things to do. So, like, where's my drink? And
God, I hate that shit. It's like...
It's so fucking annoying.
Oh my God, I'm like, we're just literally making videos and posting them on the internet. I mean, sure, whatever. That's awesome. I think it's cool. I think it's amazing. But, like, when you act like you're the fucking shit, like, you're not Angelina Jolie, bitch. But brand events are interesting because I did not used to be the best at going up to strangers and talking to them. I mean, I could, but I wasn't great at it. These type of things have really helped me learn to go up and get to know people, whether it be a creator or someone working the event. So I do like them for that aspect. You've also helped me with that because you're amazing at it. But I did not used to be that good at it. And I think the way you get better at it truly is just forcing yourself to do it. Like there is no rule book that you can follow, but it's just like forcing yourself to go up to people and be like, hi, I'm Taryn. Where are you from? What do you do? And then the conversation just keeps flowing from there. But I didn't used to be good at that, and I'm thankful for these type of things because they're making me better at it. And we did meet some really cool creators on this trip. It wasn't like, by the way, this wasn't like a brand trip by any means. It was more like we went to New York, and then there was like an event, and we did the open and stuff. But this wasn't like a brand trip per se. Like we paid for our hotel and all that stuff.
Yeah. And there wasn't anyone annoying in this trip. They were all really nice.
Yeah, they were.
I'm just like, in general, like there are times where we go to one and it's like, dude.
There's people who think their shit don't stink. I'm like, girl, like we're making fucking content on the internet. I mean, I don't know. Anywho, but that's kind of the New York recap. Highlight restaurants I would say from the trip are Ume Williamsburg, which is this like insane sushi experience with like sashimi and all this stuff. Ume Williamsburg, Fish Cheeks, Thursday Kitchen, which is a Korean place we really like. We've been there twice now.
Yeah, wait.
Yeah, I'd say those are like the three biggest highlights. I don't know. And Blue Bottle Coffee, bitch. I love Blue Bottle Coffee. I know that's a chain, but I love it. Well, I'm so, so grateful that you're back in Oregon and that you came back for a third time and that you don't want to never come back again. And
it'll be more.
It's been so fun getting to show you this place. You'll be back. And I appreciate you spending so much time with my family and traveling with me for 12 days. And here's to a new chapter.
Here's the new chapter. We go back home tomorrow night.
Yeah.
We wake up on Saturday and immediately move in, package, no mames.
Yeah.
We'll be good.
We got our fucking work cut out for us.
Yeah, but hey, just think about once we're done with everything and we can finally relax in the new place. Yeah. It's all up from there.
I hope you guys loved this episode. If you liked it, please, I think it's rate, follow, leave a review. Okay, if you're watching it on YouTube, maybe give me a subscribe. Love you guys. Thank you for listening to Tearing It Up. Sorry that we skipped a week last week. It was just chaos, and we're back. We're better than ever. We're thriving into this new chapter of life. We'll keep you guys updated on how it goes. I hope you guys like the moving content. Rafa, any last words?
Like, subscribe, and follow, and give feedback too. Because, like, look, let's be honest about something. This is your podcast. It's your show. People come here to listen to you, and like, if you don't want Rafa to be joining that much, I won't take offense. You can be like, hey, like, we don't need to force him upon us. We want to just listen to you alone. But if you enjoy it, let me know as well. That way I can know, and every now and then I can pop by. But if not, I'll take no offense.
Rafa,
I would want to listen to you too.
Shut up.
Be honest, and yeah.
Well, let's go back to Austin. Thank you for listening to the Tearing It Up podcast. Bye, y'all. See y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.